Hello, Culture Matters podcast. We're back again with another culture topic. So, follow me on Instagram, Jay Doran underscore the culture man for more culture content. We talk about business, life, leadership, culture, and so much more. I want to elaborate on the idea of being all in today, being all in, what that actually means, what I think it means, what I think it means to be all in, and the shades in between. What does it mean to be all out? That's the first thing I think about, right? What does it mean to be all out? I have a list of don'ts to be all out, because is all in what it sounds like? All in, like if I'm either in or I'm out. That's an either or is it more nuanced than that? I mean, is it about congruence? Between our words, our thoughts, and our actions, and what those around us can say about how congruent we are? Is it even possible to be 100% congruent in the sense as a consequence of being a self-aware creature that is not a self without other selves? Because there's a group, there's a lot, we're more than one, even in our in a biological sense. We don't just plop out offspring without a mate. It takes two to tango. There's a other involved when it comes to the self. So self-awareness isn't even, is that even possible to quote unquote have, like it's even finite to even have that without others, without the other, without feedback from the world outside of whatever our self is? These are the thoughts that come to mind when I'm talking about being all in. It's congruence. It's uh what's the alignment with our thoughts, our words, and our actions? The actions being a representation of our thoughts, what people can't see, what we can't even see. Our words, which are just projections or predictions or probabilities. What's it like to mean to be congruent? Am I 1% congruent? Is that on the low end? Or is it 99% congruent? Is it possible to be 100% congruent? I don't know. I don't know. Is that why we worship these idols, these martyrs of these faiths? I don't know. But if we're going to talk about business, to be all in, let's start with what seems to me, sometimes if I'm not sure, I'll look backwards, right? Let's try to be all out. Don't show up is proclamation number one. Don't show up, right? Don't show up to the meeting. Find a way out. Don't show up. Don't, find a way out. Find a way to cancel, reschedule. Just an interesting aside. There every time that I almost canceled a meeting or canceled some event, something where my word was tied up into it. Like, I planned on being there, even if I didn't say it out loud, or I said it to somebody else, or I just said it to myself and I didn't go. Or I did go, rather. I did go. It was like the best thing ever. The best things happened. And I thought, wow, imagine I didn't do this. Was I self-sabotaging? Maybe. The maybe feels like a yes. So don't show up. Don't keep your word to yourself. Don't keep your word to others. If you don't keep your word to yourself, that's going to impact your conscience. Your conscience, like another person watching you. It's you, but it's not you. It's like your potential watching you and knowing and seeing and observing. And you're in a business bargain. You have a business partner, even if you don't have a business partner, and that's your conscience. Your conscience is collecting dividends. Yep, it's collecting dividends or it's bankrupt, right? It's taking distributions or it's losing money. What are the consequences of your conscience losing money? What if it's fear at a heightened level, or shame so thick you can't even get your feet out of the mud or the quicksand, guilt to the point where you're not living for you at all because the conscience is a negative bank account. So don't keep your word to yourself, but also in general to others. Don't keep your word to others. If you want to be all out, don't keep your word to others. Do not do it. What's the difference between a lie, like going into something, knowing, intentionally manipulating, versus not keeping your word to another? That's a manipulation, because if they planned on you showing up, there's a probability you would have, or planned on you doing something or getting something done. You've manipulated reality, because their reality, the ripple effect of the world, of their behavior and what they did and didn't do, is now forever changed in this universe. You've manipulated reality. You've definitely manipulated their subjective experience if they thought you were going to show up. And what are the consequences of that? It's incalculable. So don't show up. Don't keep your word to yourself. Don't keep your word to others if you want to be all out. Don't be early. Don't be early to meetings, to events, to things. Don't be early. Forget about being on time. Don't be early. Being early, that connotes preparedness, intention, purpose. Having a plan, having an aim, having a plan, impulse control. Hmm. That made me laugh because a pause because of my debate, the great debate, episode 703, with our old buddy, Mr. BL, Mr. Lee. Are you controlled or are you in control? Go listen to that podcast on Dropping Bombs. That is a hilariously informative and helpful. Watch it on YouTube because it's way more, even more, not just entertaining. No, no, no. Deeply profound and educational, our interaction around this idea of control, which I argue we don't have it, and he argues that we do. And the answer, I'll leave up to you. Wouldn't want to control that. Um, don't be early. Don't do it if you want to be out. Don't. Being early, that inspires the idea of vision and planning, and it's a test of character, and it's a sign of congruence, right? What words, thoughts, and actions being close, closer in alignment. Don't do it. Don't invest. Don't invest. Do not invest if you want to be all out. Don't invest. Don't reinvest. Don't Ultimately, if you're not investing, you're not creating, because the creation is like a speculation on future character and competence, that our ability to relate to the world in the future will be skewed upward, not downward. And we have a degree of we have a degree of influence over the future in that way. We have a degree, and now it's also a challenge to competence, like pushing our genetic and environmental um, potential to its limits. Don't invest. Don't reinvest. Don't improve. I mean, that's one later that I know I wrote. That's all wrapped up in that. Don't start. Don't start. If you want to be all out, don't start. Don't start your business. Don't start having meetings where you didn't have them. Don't don't start taking things up to the next level. Don't start whatever that is for you that you know right now you're listening to this, you're thinking, I should have started that. Don't do it. If you want to be all out, if you desire to be all out, don't finish what you start. Start something and don't finish it. Just start startings. Don't finish anything you start. Just start. Is it even a start if you don't finish it? Is there even any meaning? Because don't you need a degree of meaning in a start? If it's a start without a finish, is it a start? It's nothing. Because the finish is what makes the start real. There's no meaning without a finish. That's like life. Life has no meaning without an end. We're not even things without an end. Things have to end. You have to end what you start. Your whole life depends on it. The meaning of your life depends on finishing what you start. Because when you start it, that's scary. So you have to be courageous. Then you have to go through the process, which is painful and riddled in a challenge in every part of us. And then you have to end it and then bear the suffering, because when it's over, you're going to then reflect on everything you screwed up even further, even though you succeeded, and then there'll be a void of purpose. You'll need a new call, which is another challenge to your character, because in our moments of weakness, our character is vulnerable to the world, to the fruit of our labor and our success, and yada, yada, yada. So don't start and don't finish what you start. To be all out, don't start and don't finish what you start. Don't ask, don't share, don't give, don't help, don't lead, don't think, don't compete, don't improve, don't learn, don't do any of those things. Don't ask, don't share, don't give, don't help, don't learn, don't compete, don't think, don't improve, don't. If you want to be all out, don't show up, don't keep your word to yourself or others. Don't be early, don't invest, don't reinvest, don't start, don't finish what you start. Don't ask, don't share, don't give, don't help, don't lead, don't think, don't compete, don't improve, don't learn, don't. If you want to be all in, do. Learn, improve, compete, think, lead, help, give, share, ask. Finish what you start. Start, invest, reinvest, invest. Be early. Keep your word to others, keep your word to yourself. Show up. If you want to be all in, follow me on Instagram, Jay Doran _ the culture man. Listen to Dropping Bombs episode 703 for that inside joke earlier. And please leave us a review on the Culture Matters podcast.